Good morning, everyone. This is Mrs. Gershon here. We're going to continue our work with suffixes this week. We're adding endings onto base words. Our suffixes this week are going to be meant, less, and ness. I'm going to read through your list, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what each of those words or each of those suffixes mean at the top. So our words this week are payment, powerlessness, I should say, blindness, punishment, tactless, politeness, government, hopeless. Then we have breathless, replacement, flawless, dizziness, agreement, fruitless, emptiness, fearlessness. Notice our base word empty normally ends with a Y, so we're dropping that and adding an I. Same with laziness. Lazy is usually spelled L-A-Z-Y. You're dropping the Y and adding an I. Laziness, priceless, employment, thoughtless, friendliness, amusement, and saltiness. We're going to take a minute now and talk about each of those suffixes by themselves. So for our first suffix, meant, when we're adding meant onto a word, you're changing the word from a verb to a noun. So let's take a look at our first bold word that has meant in it, the word payment, right in the first column. Our base word is pay, obviously, and we're adding meant onto the end. Now, pay means to give somebody money, but when we add meant onto the end, as in the word payment, that's actually a thing. A payment is a thing, like making my car payment. So a thing is a noun. So you're changing that verb, the action of paying somebody, into a noun, a payment. Let's look at our last word, not our last word, just one more example of this, and then you can go through and find your other meant words. But in this first column, again, we have punishment, our base word punish. Punish is the act of scolding someone. But a punishment is a thing, something given to somebody when they do something wrong. They're given a consequence of punishment. So a punishment is a thing, which is a noun. So you're changing it from the verb punish to the noun punishment. Our next suffix is less. Now less, when you add less onto a base word, it changes that noun or verb into an adjective, a describing word, meaning without. So looking at our base word, like I'm looking at the bold word, breathless, up here at the top. Breath is our base word, and that's a noun, it's a thing. Now when we're adding less onto the end, it's meaning without breath. So you don't have breath, you're actually struggling to breathe, breathless. Again, I'm looking through. Let's look at this word tact. Now, tact means you are being respectful. You are, doing the right thing. You're acting appropriately. Tactless, meaning without appropriateness. That might be a tricky meaning of a word, but you're adding less onto that verb or noun, and it's changing the word to mean less. And our last suffix is ness. When you add ness onto a base word, you are changing nouns to adjectives, so you're changing people, places, or things into a describing word. So kind of like their state of being, how that person or how something is acting. So I'm looking here at our base word, laziness. Now we talked about laziness before. Now lazy spelled with a Y, you're dropping the Y and adding an I. Now lazy is a thing, something how you're acting. Actually, it's an adjective. It's a describing word. But laziness is the state of how somebody is acting or something is acting. It's their state of being. So if you say the dog was showing a lot of laziness, you're describing the dog as a thing that's lazy. I'm looking through, let's look at the word blindness. So looking at blind, our base word is blind here. And you're adding ness onto the end, so you're describing the state of of somebody being blind. And I'm looking through, we do see a couple of interesting things. We see a bold word here that is powerlessness. So you all actually have two suffixes. These should really go into their own category. So you're going to kind of have like an oddball category that has powerlessness as a header. Obviously, power is our base word. Now, less is adding that without part. So without power, okay, and the state of being. So powerlessness. Thinking about how somebody is without power and they're acting that way. You can tell it on their body and the way that they're presenting themselves. So you're going to see a couple of words that have lessness added on to the end. If you guys have any questions about the meanings of any of these words, please raise your hand and I can come around and help you. Obviously, you're breaking your words into the suffixes, and don't forget the lessness column. You're going to need that column. At this time, you can get your scissors and start cutting. And again, if you need anything, pop your hand up. Happy sorting.